students, welcome to Data Communication video lecturing sessions. So in the present video session, you can learn the basic concepts of switching. Network is a set of connected devices or nodes. Suppose we need to connect n number of devices. Now the question arises how we can perform one-to-one communication. One solution here is we can adopt point-to-point connection. We can adopt point-to-point connection. So in short, that point-to-point connection is nothing but our mesh topology itself. So that means if you are having more number of devices within the network, suppose if you are considering efficiency as a factor, so the efficiency of such network will be very less, because if you are having n number of devices within the network, so each n number of devices need to connect it to the other devices. Suppose if you are having 5 devices, we can manage manage with the mesh topology itself. That means each node, suppose if I am having one node over here, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we need to have the connection to all the devices like this. Suppose if you are having more number of devices, we cannot adopt mesh topology concepts. Therefore, one better solution is to use the switching concept. So we can say that the switched network consisting of series of interlinked nodes called as switches. So these switches are capable of creating temporary connections between the devices. In a switched network, some of these nodes are connected to the end systems like computers or telephones, etc. In short, we can consider the switching is a concept of interconnecting the nodes using the switches. So those switches are capable of creating the connections between two or more number of devices linked to that respective switch. The diagram shows switched network which consisting of end systems like A, B, C, D, E and so on till J. We can observe that all the switches like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 are considered here. Each switch is connected to the multiple links. Each switch is connected to more than one link, that is nothing but multiple link. So that is how we can connect the end systems, like the end systems are nothing but communicating systems itself or communicating devices itself. So we can make the interconnections between the devices using the switches. Methods of switching. So basically we can have 3 different categories under switching. The first category is circuit switching, second one is packet switching and third one is message switching. So circuit switching and packet switching are commonly used switching concept, and the message switching concept can be used in the networking applications. So this packet switching concept is once again further classified into virtual circuit networks and datagram networks. So the diagrams shows the different networking categories or techniques. The switch network is classified as circuit switch network, packet switch network and message switch network. So again the packet switch network is subclassified as datagram networks and virtual circuit networks. Circuit switch networks. In the case of circuit switch network, the first thing is we have to establish a dedicated path in order to perform the communication. So the circuit switch network consisting of a set of switches, and those switches are connected by the physical link. So in the diagram we can observe that we are having 4 different switches and we are having the communicating devices like A and M. So we can clearly say that device A acts as a sender and device M is acting as a receiver. So before sending the data from A to M, first thing is we need to establish a dedicated path from sender to the receiver. Suppose if this path is established between A and M, so now A can send the information or any data through this respective path. Each connection uses only one dedicated channel on each link. So here we can observe that we are having one link but it's consisting of n channels. In the case of circuit switching concept, the switching takes place in the transport layer. Before starting communication, each stations need to reserve the resources. That means resource allocations or resource reservation can be done by the stations. The resources may be either bandwidth in the case of FDM and time slot in the case of TDM, switch buffers, switch processing time, switch input bar output ports, etc. So in the case of data transfer, the data transfer between the devices are not packetized. That means the entire flow of data can be sent continuously from the sender node or source station to the receiver node, that means to the destination node. The sender can send or source node can send continuous flow of data to the destination node. So in the case of circuit switched concept, we are not considering the addressing concept. So that means no addressing is considered. The switch is responsible one in order to route the data. In the case of circuit switched network, the resources need to be reserved during the setup phase. That means while establishing the dedicated connection between the source node to the destination or to the end system, the resources need to be allocated. The resources remain dedicated for the entire duration of data transfer until the tear down phase, until the connection termination takes place. Till that, the resources need to be allocated for that respective data transfer. The actual communication in the case of circuit switch network consisting of three different phases. The first one is setup phase. Second one is data transfer phase. And last one is tear down phase. So we will take one by one. First we will take what is the meaning of setup phase. Before data transfer, we need to establish a dedicated path between those two communicating devices or those two end systems. So we know that the end system is connected to the switch through the dedicated link. In the diagram we can observe that the end system is connected to the switch using a dedicated link. So therefore the connection setup phase, that means which creates a dedicated channel between the switches. So in short, there will be a dedicated connection between the switches also, and suppose if you are having A as the source node and M as the end system. Suppose if A need to communicate with M, so we know that M is already has one dedicated link which is connected to the switch, and switch 4 and 3 are interconnected using one more link, and finally through switch 1, 4 and 3, so A can communicate with M. So that is nothing but the setup phase. In short, setup phase, it will establish a dedicated path between the source node and the destination node in order to perform the communication. So next is data transfer phase. After establishing a dedicated circuit, that means dedicated channel between those two parties or communicating devices, the actual data can be transmitted from the sending node to the receiving node. So the last one is tear down phase, where we can disconnect the actual dedicated path which was established under step 1 or under setup phase. So when one of the parties need to disconnect, one signal will be sent to each switches so that it can release the resources. That means under tear down phase, in short, we can consider, so actual what exactly the path is established, that respective path will be disconnected. Efficiency in the case of circuit switch network will be less while compared with other two types of networks. The reason behind is the resources are allocated during the entire duration of the connection. Even if there is no data to send, once the connection is established, until the tear down phase, the actual resources are allocated between those two parties. So therefore, those resources are unavailable to the other connections. For example, in the case of telephone network, people normally terminate the communication when they have finished their conversations. But in the case of computer systems, what happens is a computer can be connected to the other computer even if there is no activity is taking place. So in this case, allowing resources to be dedicated means that other connections are waiting for the resources while suppose if those nodes are having the data to send. So therefore, in short, we can conclude that in the case of circuit switch network, the efficiency is less while compared with other two types of networks. Even if the efficiency of circuit switch network is less, the delay cost in this type of connection is minimal. So why? Because we are establishing the dedicated connection and we are allotting the resources before sending the data. So suppose the delay cost within the circuit switch network, that may be because of the delay occurred during the connection, or the delay occurred during the data transfer, or the delay occurred during the disconnect phase. Since there is no waiting time at each switch, the delay is due to the time needed to create the connection or for the data transfer or disconnect the connection. So for example, we can say that the delay cost during the setup phase, it consisting of 4 different parameters. During setup phase, the delay is equal to sum of the propagation time of the source computer request plus the request signal transfer time plus request signal transfer time plus the propagation time of an acknowledgement, and the last parameter is the signal transfer time of the acknowledgement. Signal transfer time of an acknowledgement. So therefore, the delay cost during setup phase is equal to propagation time of the source computer request plus request signal transfer time plus propagation time of an acknowledgement plus signal transfer time of an acknowledgement. So similarly, the delay cost during the data transfer it will be equal to the propagation time plus data transfer time. During data transfer phase, so delay may be because of two parties like propagation time plus data transfer time. So similarly, we can have a small delay during the disconnect phase also. So the diagram shows here we can observe that we are having two systems like A and B, which is connected using two different switches. So this is nothing but connection establishment phase. During setup phase, one is the delay during the propagation time, second one is request signal transfer time. Once again, the delay propagation time of an acknowledgement plus the signal transfer time. So similarly, the data transfer phase, so the propagation time plus the data transfer time. So similarly, during disconnect phase, there also will be having a small amount of delay. So we can say that even if the efficiency is low and delay will be delay is also less, but the delay will be there within the circuit switch network because of those three different phases. Circuit switch technology in the case of telephone network. So we can make use of circuit switching concept in the case of telephone networks, even though the tendency is moving towards other switching techniques nowadays. Packet switching. In data communication, we need to send data from one node to another. In the case of packet switch network, data can be divided into smaller units called as packets. So the size of the packet will be decided by the network or the governing protocol. Here we are not considering the resource allocation for a packet. So that means no reserved bandwidth on the link is considered in the case of packet switch network. So allocation is done on first come first serve basis. When a switch receives a packet, no matter what the source or destination is, the packet must wait if there are other packets are being processed. The packet switch network can be subclassified as datagram networks and virtual circuit approach. First we will consider datagram networks. Even if the packet is a part of multi-packet transmission, each packet is treated independently in the case of datagram network. In the case of datagram network, we are not allocating the resources in advance. Only if there is a data to send, then only the resources like bandwidth can be allocated. Packets in this approach can be referred as datagrams. The datagram switching is normally done at the network layer. The diagram shows datagram network with 4 switches. We have 4 packets like packet 1, 2, 3, 4 and all the 4 packets belongs to single message. And we are having 2 stations, station A and station X. Station A wants to transfer these 4 packets into station X. So in the case of datagram network, the switches are represented by a router. So these are the routers. Instead of switches, we can represent the switches as routers. So all the 4 packets belongs to the same message, but the message arrived at the destination may be out of order. That means the order in which the station A sends the message, if it is 1, 2, 3, 4, but in the same order the destination X will not receive the data in all the times. In some cases, some of the packets may be dropped within the network. So Therefore, we can refer the datagram network as connectionless network. Why? Because the switches does not keep any information about the connection status. So we know that we are not having any setup and tear down phase, but the packets need to be routed into the destination by adapting different paths. In the datagram network, we are not reserving any resources. So suppose if I am choosing packet 1, the packet 1 may travel via this route like this in order to reach the destination, and the packet 4 can reach next. Similarly, packet 2 can reach like this. So this is the path which was adopted by packet 3 in order to reach the destination. Clearly we can observe that the packet sent by the station A is in the order 1, 2, 3, 4, but at the destination which is received out of order fashion. So that is 1, 4, 3 and 2. Routing table. We know that in the case of datagram network, we are not having any setup and tear down phase. So now the question arises, how we can transmit the packets into the destination in the case of datagram network. So for that purpose, we can make use of a routing table across each switch or across a packet switch. Switch has the routing table which consisting of some of the informations like the destination addresses and the corresponding forwarding output ports, etc. So these routing tables are dynamic and which can be updated periodically. So these routing tables are different from the tables of a circuit switch network, in which each entry is created whenever the setup phase is established and it can be deleted whenever the tear down phase is over. A switch in the case of datagram network which uses a routing table that is based on the destination address. So in the case of datagram network, the switch can be represented as a router. So in this case, it consisting of 4 different ports like port 1, port 2, port 3 and port 4. So these are the output ports which are listed within the routing table. So these routing table need to be considered across each and every router or the switch or packet switch. So in the diagram we can observe that each routing table consisting of destination address and output port informations. Destination address. In the case of datagram network, each packet consisting of header information. Along with the additional information, the header information also carries the destination address of the packet. So now the switch receives the packet along with the header information. It will check the destination address to which the packet need to be forwarded. So now the switch will consult the routing table. Switch will consult the routing table so that it can decide via which respective output port the packet can be forwarded in order to reach the intended destination. The delay introduced in the case of circuit switch network is greater than that of virtual circuit network. Even though there is no setup and tear down phase, each packet may experience the delay at the switch level before it is forwarded to the next destination. So in the given diagram, we can observe that we are having two stations A and B. In between, it consisting of two switches. That means each packet need to travel through these two switches. So the total delay we can compute by considering the transmission time, waiting time and the propagation delay. So we are having 3 transmission times and 2 waiting times and 3 times the propagation delay between the stations as well as the routers. So as I mentioned before, the packet travels through 2 switches and we can compute the total delay T is equal to 3 times the transmission time plus 3 times the propagation delay plus waiting time first one and waiting time 2, which was considered between second router and station B. Virtual circuit network. So the second category under packet switch network is virtual circuit network. So this has the characteristics of both circuit switch network and datagram network. So the first one is like the circuit switch network, so it consisting of setup phase, tear down phase and data transfer phase. The second one is the resources can be allocated during the setup phase itself like the circuit switch network, or else the resources can be allocated on demand like in the case of datagram network. So like in the case of datagram network, the data are packetized. So in the case of virtual circuit network also, we can consider the data can be packetized and each packet carries an address in the header. So these address in the header consisting of the informations about the next switch. Also the channel information via which the packet need to be transmitted. So as in the case of circuit switch network, all the packets follows the same path established during the setup phase. A virtual circuit network is normally implemented in the data link layer. Circuit switch network can be implemented in the physical layer and the datagram network can be implemented in the network layer. The diagram shows an example of a virtual circuit network. So the network consisting of switches that allows the traffic in order to travel from the source to the destination. A source or destination may be either a computer or else the packet switch or else a bridge or any other kind of devices. So in the given example, we can consider 4 different end systems and we are having around 6 switches are interconnected. Addressing. In the case of virtual circuit network, we can make use of 2 types of addressing. The first one is global addressing and the second one is local addressing. The global addressing represents the address which is unique one. This global address is nothing but a unique address that corresponds to the network. Similarly, the local address is nothing but the VCI itself, that is virtual circuit identifier. So the meaning of VCI is the identifier which is used while transferring the data between the switches. The identifier which is used while transferring the data can be called as virtual circuit identifier. So this VCI will be a small number. It will be a small number. So in the diagram we can observe that we are having one switch. So we are having one small piece of information. Along with that, the incoming data has the VCI virtual circuit identifier as 14, and while leaving that respective switch, the data and VCI is like this, but the VCI is modified. So therefore the VCI does not need to be a larger number, since each switch can use its own unique set of VCIs. So VCIs will be, the value of VCIs will be decided by the switch itself. So but each time whenever the data entering into the switch and the data leaving from the switch, the value of VCI will be different. So therefore we can say that in the case of virtual circuit network, we can make use of two addresses. Among those two addresses, one address will be unique one and the other one is VCI itself, that is virtual circuit identifier. Like in the case of circuit switch network, the virtual circuit network consisting of three different phases. The first one is setup phase, data transfer phase, and third one is tear down phase. In the case of setup phase, the source and destination use the global address to help the switches in order to make the table entries. And during the data transfer phase, the actual data can be transferred between those two parties. The last one is tear down phase, where the source and destination inform the switches in order to delete the corresponding entries within the table. Data transfer phase. In order to transfer the frame from source to destination, all switches need to have or need to maintain a single table. So the table is simplest one, but it has four different columns which consisting of the port number as well as virtual circuit identifier value. So for example, we are having one switch, it consisting of four different ports like port 1, port 2 and port 3. So we can say that here the two data frames are travelled towards this respective switch. The data 1 or this particular frame consisting of VCI as 14, the second frame consisting of VCI as 77. Initially the switch need to maintain the incoming informations like the port number, via which port number with the VCI value the frame is entered into the switch. So now after that it need to maintain the informations regarding the frame transfer. So that means here we can observe that the data with the VCI 14, the data with VCI 14, that means this one is transmitted or forwarded through the port 3, that is the output port. But the VCI value is changed, so now the new VCI value is 22. So similarly the data with the VCI value 77 is forwarded through the port number 2 with the new VCI value is 41. So we can clearly observe that the whenever the frame is entered into the switch and leaving from the switch, the VCI values are different. Setup phase. In the case of setup phase, each switch will create an entry for a virtual network. For example, source A need to create a virtual circuit to B. It need to follow two steps. The first one is setup request and the second one is acknowledgement. Initially, a setup request frame is sent from the source to the destination. In the present diagram, we can observe that A is nothing but the source station and B is nothing but the destination station. And here, so A is nothing but the setup frame. So this setup frame, it will be transferred into switch 1, and here across switch 1 we can observe that we are having one table. It consisting of incoming and outgoing port and VCI informations. So the port value is port number 1 and with the VCI value, that is virtual circuit identifier, is 14. So similarly the same request frame is transferred into switch 2 via port 3. So you can just fill the value of port 3 over here. So similarly at switch 2 we can fill the informations like incoming port is port 1 and outgoing port number is port 2, and the incoming port the VCI value is 66 and outgoing port we can fill it later. So now the same request is transferred into switch 3 with the with the incoming port as port 2 and outgoing port as port 3, and incoming VCI value is 22 and outgoing VCI value is not known now. So but the setup request is transferred into the destination B. So now the destination B, it will transfer an acknowledgement into the system A. So for example, the acknowledgement send, so you can start from here A with the VCI value as 77. So now at switch level 3, the VCI value is 77. So now the same acknowledgement, it will be transferred from switch 3 to switch 2 like this. So this is the acknowledgement like this. So now with the VCI value of 22. So now we can fill the outgoing VCI value as 22. After that, the same acknowledgement, it will be transferred from switch 2 to switch 1 with the VCI value as 66. So now incoming the outgoing VCI value, it will be equal to 66. So finally the acknowledgement, it will be transferred from switch 1 to the source node A with an VCI value. We know the VCI value of this respective port, so that is 14. So this is how the actual setup request frame and an acknowledgement can be exchanged between two systems A and B. After completing all the data transfer between source A and the destination B, source A will send a special frame called as tear down request in order to terminate the actual connection. So with respect to this request, destination B will respond with a tear down acknowledgement to the source A. So now all the switches will delete the corresponding entries from their respective tables. We know that in the case of virtual circuit network, resources can be allocated during the setup phase, or else the resources can be allocated on demand like the datagram network. But in both the cases, there may be a chance of delay while transferring the data. But the major advantage with respect to virtual circuit network is the sources can check the availability of the resources without actually reserving it. Delay in the case of virtual networks. So we can observe that there is one-time delay with respect to setup phase, one-time delay with respect to tear down phase. If the resources are allocated during setup phase, there is no wait time for the individual packet. But even though we have to consider the transmission time. The total delay T can be computed as 3 times the transmission time plus 3 times the propagation time plus setup delay plus tear down delay. Virtual circuit networks are used in switched WANs such as frame relay and ATM networks. The data link layer of these technologies is well suited to the virtual circuit technology, where switching at the data link layer in a switched WAN is normally implemented by using virtual circuit techniques. For any queries, please mail me at sadhana.b@canaraengineering.in. Thank you.